My blissful self. Let us continue the discussion on meditation. The ordinary people try to attain occult powers by doing yajna, yaga, and sinking in the water during solar eclipse and lunar eclipse and utter some mantras. There are religious observations like Kracha and Chandrayana. During Kracha, the first day after Purnima, one has to take one grass of food. Like this, one has to increase the grosses of food till Amavasya day. On Amavasya day, one has to take full meal. Then on the first day after Amavasya, one has to take 14 grosses of food. Like this, one has to lessen the grosses of food till Purnima day. And on Purnima day, one should not take any food at all. Some worship the deities, gods, and goddesses, and some others practice pranayama to attain occult powers. Some others practice Kevala Kumbhaka to attain occult powers. So these powers can be exhausted by using them. And when they are completely exhausted, one has to make new efforts to attain them again. But the occult powers of the self realized ones cannot be exhausted. They are always with them. They are always there at the feet of self realized ones. But the self realized ones care a least towards these occult powers. They are not perturbed by anything. Even they are not perturbed by the three states, namely waking, dream, and deep sleep. So the state is created by the mind. It is not really existing, it is false. In the same way, the waking state is also created by the mind. The ignorance of deep sleep is known in the form of I didn't know anything in deep sleep. That means one has no ignorance at all. In this way, one is not affected by these three states. These three states come and go, but one remains as a witness to the three states. In this way, the self realized doesn't experience unhappiness in any way. The happiness is in the self. If this is the case, why we should not meditate on the permanent happiness giving self? When the self realized is in the jnana samadhi, one can come to the waking by oneself, or he can be awakened while he is ascending to the jnana samadhi, or when he is descending from jnana samadhi. But when the jnana samadhi is very deep, one cannot be awakened. When one is in deep jnana samadhi, even if his body is burnt or cut asunder or buried in the soil, nothing will happen to the self-realized. The self-realized, when awakens to the waking state, he can guide the others to attain jnana samadhi. He can guide the others without any distinction of caste, creed, color, country, region, etc. Some spiritual aspirants, when they attain jnana samadhi, they remain in it throughout their life. This is called Turyatita state. This type of jnanis are dead to the world and the worldly. They don't preach at all. The people can be benefited by their sight and touch. Dattatreya attained Turyatita state and he didn't come to the waking state at all. To this type of jnanis, if anyone gives meal, they may eat it or they may spit it out. If they are taken for urination or for excreting the feces, they may urinate or not. They may excrete the feces or not. The other examples of these are the Gurunatharuda Swamiji of Siddharuda Mata of Hubli and Adrushananda Swamiji of Kadaravalli. He remained in the Jnana Samadhi continuously for 6 months. The self-realized ones have the complete knowledge of the whole world. If we attain the self-knowledge, all knowledge can be known. This Atma-jnana can be attained by meditating on the self. Some jnanis preach all people, whether they are real spiritual aspirants or not, like Shivananda and Siddharuda. Jnanis preach the people if they ask the questions. Example, Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi was in a position to answer the questions if the people ask the questions. And others remain completely silent. Examples, Gurunatharuda of Siddharuda Mata and Dattatreya. The people can be benefited to the maximum by the jnanis who preach to all. Those who abuse the self-realized leave the body with maximum misery or pain. And those who adore the self-realized, they get the fruits of the virtuous actions of jnanis of past lives. The self-realized has the knowledge that Brahman is the only truth and the body and the world are false. And the happiness is in the self or Brahman only. And the misery is in the gross body, in sensory objects, and body consciousness. The individual soul is the universal soul only. If we meditate on the universal soul, we'll have the knowledge of the universal soul. Then one gets the permanent happiness. And we all want permanent happiness only. When one gets the permanent happiness, he will not at all be born again. The desire of sensory objects, the desire of gross body, and the body consciousness is the cause of unhappiness. And those who have all these will be born again. Those who stand still in their real self, they have no worry of anything, of eating, of drinking, of sleeping, or of living the gross body. So, if we meditate on the real self continuously, we will get the permanent happiness. Then there will be no rebirth at all. So, let us meditate on our real self and get the permanent happiness. By this, I end my talk.